Debbie with Kip's Corner. Welcome back. And if you're new, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I am super excited to be starting a new project. This is sort of going to be a journal. And I'll explain in a minute what I mean by sort of. I have another one that I want to get started on. I am still working on woven textures. It's not done, but it is pretty far along. And I kind of got this in my head and really wanted to get started on it. So I will finish woven textures, get started on this. I have another journal that I want to start on, but I'll wait until woven textures is done on that one. And I have a mixed media project to finish and another one I want to get started on. So, there's a lot going on. And then also on every other Thursday-ish, or once or twice a month on Thursdays, I also post the Inspired by Color series, and I'll continue with that because that's been a lot of fun. So Tracie Fox Creative, it's LoveJunkJournals on Etsy. Tracie Fox has this kit. It's not old, but it's not brand spanking new either. And it's the Phenology journal, and it's also set up to where you could create a planner with it. And Phenology is the study of the cyclical cycles in biological plant and animal life. So you see them represented in these circles where the changes in the seasons or the years, or not years, months, or the seasons are shown, and it's a complete cycle. It repeats itself. If that makes sense, I don't do a very good job of explaining, but these are just some of the papers that I printed out from Tracie's kit. I printed them out at 90%, and I might have to do a couple of them a little bit smaller, but let me show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create a board book. So I've got boards, and then when the board book is done, it's going to live inside this cigar box. I've sanded down the front just to get it smooth and get some of that texture that was created by the imprint here. I'll go over this with gesso and get all of this completely covered, and then the journal will live inside the box. So that's my plan. Okay, now, so for the outside of the box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over just this top square. I want to leave this. This is gorgeous. It's got a nice lacquer on it. There is something here that says Ashton Corona, but I'm going to put like a metal plate of some sort or something here to cover that. But the rest of the sides I'm going to leave intact. Then on the very top, I'm going to start with a coat of, I'm going to use this Derivan Matisse Caramello. It's a warm sienna as for the gesso. This is colored gesso, and I'll put that layer of gesso on top. That'll cover this black. And then I'm going to use this decoupage paper by Stamperia, depending on how you say it. And I'm going to come up here with this top portion, about like that. Cover just this very top square-ish with the decoupage paper, which will be on top of this caramel colored gesso. It should look really pretty. Okay, and then that won't be all. And then I'm going to use, this is one of my rusted metal shapes, and this is really too big for a journal. I mean, it's just really wide, but it fits perfect on here. And there'll be some other things going on. Won't that be pretty? And that'll be the top outside of the box. And then on the inside, I have these panels. These are chipboard panels. This is a lighter weight chipboard, a little bit lighter than what I would typically use on a cover of a journal. And these are all cut at 5.5 inches square. They'll be attached with tabs, and it'll be like this, attached, and it'll be a flip journal. Does that make sense? I've got 12 boards cut. I'm assuming this is going to roughly double in size. by the time I get, you know, papers and everything on top. And I've got 1.5 inch depth, a little bit more than 1.5 inch here. And so right now I've got these cut, I think they need to go that way. And I've got plenty of expansion room, but I don't know that I'm going to use all 12 boards. It's always nice to have extras. I may only make it 10 boards deep. I don't know yet, but it's 10 would be 20 pages because you've got front and back. So that's, and then I'll do something fun on the top cover on the inside. That's the plan. And then these, like I said, I trimmed them to 90%, but you can see, you know, like if I wanted that on there, I'd be cutting part of it off, which is fine, I think. But I might want to print a couple of these just a little bit smaller. These are all also printed on a linen paper, which has just an ever so slight texture to it. It's really nice. And then I also have some of the ephemera kind of pieces printed out that I'll be using. And so on each of the panels, there'll be collage and pockets and flips and things like that on each panel as you go through it. So I hope that makes sense. That's the kit I'm using. This will be a design team project for Tracie Fox Creative. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start by getting gesso and paint on my pieces. So what I want to do is I'm going to get a coat of gesso on top of this, and I want to get a coat of paint around this edge on both sides. And the paint is so that, and I want that deep dark green, and so I'm going to use, this is Burnt Green Earth, Sennelier acrylic, and it's acrylic paint, and it's kind of an olive. It's really a pretty color. I don't know if you can see the color there in the cap. It's kind of a dark olive. So that'll be what the edges of this, and you know, it won't show, but I'm just going to come in, you know, 1/2 inch all the way around. Then I'll put my base paper down, and then I'll build whatever else I'm going to build on top of that. So I think what I'm going to do, I just got that all over it. I think what I'm going to do, I want to get the paint and the base sheet down first, and then I'll attach them. And I'll attach the boards with fabric tabs. And so that's the plan, I think. I definitely know that I want to get the paint on here before I try attaching the boards with the tabs. And I also need to get this coat of gesso on here before I do anything else. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'll come back and show you my progress. Okay, here we are. We've got the, actually this is 3 thin coats of the Derivan Métis Caramello colored gesso, and it's Caramello is a warm sienna. It's labeled as that. And there's a faint, you can kind of see the black, but by the time this decoupage paper gets on here, I don't think you will. I trimmed this down just a little bit just so I wasn't dealing with quite so much. I'm going to lay that on top using matte medium, and then I'm going to put a coat of matte medium on top of that. Then I'll run sandpaper across these edges just to break that apart. And then I will spray this top with, if I've got some, some sealant and probably a gloss, since the sides have a gloss on them. And that will completely seal it. And then it should look, hopefully, the idea is it looks like it was meant to be that way the whole time. So let's start with some matte medium. And this is almost empty. And I'm just going to get a nice layer on there and a brush. Brush it around. And I do want get enough on here. And then I think I can easily clean up if I kind of tip over that edge a little bit, since I really just want this on the top. I should be able to clean that up easily enough, hopefully. Worst case, I think I could sand it probably. I just want to make sure this is plenty wet. And then I'm gonna pop that on there. I'm gonna bring this to me just a little bit because I want to make sure that it's on there fairly straight. Fairly straight. Let me get something to rub that down with. This should work. Very gently. I don't like that one. I want the rubber one. Where is it? Uh-oh. There it is. Glue's gonna be dry before I find what I'm looking for. Kind of going slow because I want to get this nice and soaked through the paper. And of course, I don't want to rip it either. There we go. All right, now I'm going to run I'm going to run this across, which should smooth out any of the brush strokes for starters. That's pretty. All right, I see a couple spots here where I want to get a little more. Now what I want to do is take my sandpaper, my sanding doohickey thing that is gross and disgusting, but absolutely wonderful. And I'm just going to run that around the edge here. And I should be able to pull that paper right off. Oops. There it goes. Get that side down. I'm going to do the same thing here. And I want to get the sticking to my fingers. There we go. I want to get the matte medium off of the edge here before it dries. So a little bit of it dripped down. There we go. Same here. Let's get that wiped up. Oh, that's pretty. I like it. Sorry, that's a little bit noisy. Little bit. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry it, and then I'm going to go in and sand a little bit kind of right around the edge on the top, just to make it look a little more worn. And then, yeah. So let's get that dry first. Okay, so I'm just going to go here now across the edge, focusing more on the top. Kind of getting that worn in there. There we go. It is still damp. And I'm not taking a lot off, just blending it in a little bit more. To the top. Okay, there we go. And that then I think matches nicely to the sides, which I'm not going to do anything to. And I do need to, I will put, I'm going to put some ink around the edge, probably a permanent ink, and then I'll spray this. And then, where is it? There'll be more to it. I'll probably raise this up a little bit, and put some other stuff kind of going on with it. But I think that'll be really pretty. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'll go all the way around the edge with this. I don't know what they're honking at. But my dog is not happy about it. See, I can kind of come in here. Tone that down just a little bit. That's pretty. I like it. I'm happy with it. And now when I spray this with the sealant, it'll have that shine and that sheen to it, and that'll be really pretty. Okay, let me finish going around the edge. And then we'll let this sit and dry up really well. I won't spray it, probably for at least 24 hours, so I can be sure that the matte medium and the gesso, you know, everything that I put on it is plenty dry. Yeah. Tone that down just a little. Get that color on there. That's pretty. That's really pretty. And it really blends in nicely with the rest of the box. I'm really glad I used that Carmella on the underneath on the gesso. Now I'm going to do one more thing because I want a really dark edge. If I can find it. There we go. And I'm going to use an even darker brown. very so lightly. Here we go. Nice. That blends that dark end that's in there too. Okay, and then this, oops, got a little heavy there. It's all right, we'll brush it out. There we go. Oh, I like it. Okay. Yay. It worked. You never know. Okay. Now, I could put a little bit of the dark here. Try to get some of those white fibers. Okay. Now that is ready for its, and like I said, I'm not going to do any more to this for at least the next 24 hours. And honestly, it'll probably be a couple days. And then I'll start working on the inside. Now on the inside, I'll probably put, oh look, I dropped a couple of them. I'll probably line the inside both on the top and the bottom with papers from that digital kit from Tracie Fox Creative. Get some more, I'll find some of them that are probably a little more neutral. And yeah, that should work. So this is as far as I'm going to take it. Okay, before I leave, I will show you what I'm going to do here. Is I'm just going to run paint around the outer edge. Let's see. This probably would work just fine. And that's all I need. Let's turn this around. This is empty. I emptied it out. Okay, so on this, all I'm going to do, get some of the paint in there. I'm going to take one board at a time, and I'm going to just go around the edge and the outer edge. And get that green on there. That's it. And I'll just do one side at a time. Set these down, let them dry, and then flip them over and then do the next. So it's going to take a minute to get these all done and to get them all painted. And I'm just gonna make sure that I'm going in at least, at least a ½ inch, probably a little bit more than that, and 3/4 of an inch. I don't need that much, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather not need it. So that's plenty there. My pages will all go almost to the edge. I may leave, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch all the way around, maybe only about a 1/16 of an inch. I'm not gonna leave a ton all the way around, but I do want these edges to be that green color too. So, just like that. That's it. Simple as that. Okay. So I will be back with more on this journal, and more, of course, on the Woven Textures journal. And then I also have another journal I want to get started on, but I do want to finish Woven Textures before I do that. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back. Bye-bye.